Leach back here in Chicago at Benzinga's Cannabis Capital Conference 2025, having a great time. It's about to get better because Gary Santo is here. My man, the CEO of RX Green Technologies. It's great to see you again. And what a difference a year makes, right?
Yes, very much so.
Well, for those that don't know, let everyone know about RX Technologies and what you guys are all about.
Sure. So RX Green Technologies, we provide substrates and nutrients. So we're ancillary to the cannabis industry. We don't touch the plant, but we provide basically the soil you grow in and what you feed those plants. And the great part there is it doesn't really matter what that's going to become. It could be an edible, a drink, a pre-roll. It's got to start in the garden. So we decided to start a company that starts where it all begins.
Well, and speaking of where it all begins, we talked a year ago.
Yep.
It's been quite the journey. I wanted to kind of check back in with you about that journey from last year, kind of rebuilding the company and where you guys are now. I know things are in a really good place.
Yeah, so the company was founded back in 2011. I came along in late 2023, and really the mandate was, can we scale this thing? We had our great year in 2021, and that was wonderful, but can we actually get this over the hump and keep going and even think about a land beyond cannabis? Because what we provide, you can grow tomatoes in, strawberries,
right,
anything you want. So we spent basically 18 months doing exactly that, and it's one of the joys of being a small private company. Back when I was with the public companies, forget it. That would have taken 2 or 3 years. So we've rebuilt the entire team. We've changed the platform, repriced all of our products, and really focused on being an operator who happens to provide goods to other operators, as opposed to transaction-focused, just churning out a lot of consumables. And I think that change has allowed us to deepen our relationships.
There's a lot of, obviously, pitfalls and things that have gone on in this industry, especially in the last year. And you've obviously had a lot of success in getting to where you need to go. When you look at where the space is as a whole, and there's been a lot of positive feelings at this conference, as there always is, which is what I love. Sure. And then there's, I don't want to call them negative Nancy's, but, maybe more realists, people that are a little cynical. I think that the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, right? When you look at where this space is and where it hopefully can go, how do you feel RX Green Technologies is fitting in? How do you want it to fit in?
So for us, I think we want to help the growers be successful in 2 ways. Number one, want to help you reduce your cost of the goods, right? Because we know that bottom line is so critical right now. As much as everybody wants legalization or rescheduling, whatever it's going to be, I think people have come to the conclusion it might happen, but we can't wait for it any longer. And you can build profitable cannabis companies in single states if that's what you want to do, or even a multi-state operator, as long as you stop waiting for something you have no control over. So helping them control what they can control. So get them something that's priced right, get them something they can depend on, and this way when they start to make their changes in their gardens, whether it's what they're growing, how fast they're growing, things they don't have to worry about, the soil they grow in and the nutrients they use, that they can work with. Everything else is where they could be flexible.
What a time to be alive, that's for sure. I know something else that matters a lot too is relationships, and obviously, that's something that I think sometimes, not just this cannabis space, any space lacks. Why is that so important to you?
I think when you take a look at who offers what on the ancillary side, whether it's us, whether it's any ancillary provider, too many of them just became these transaction-focused shops. They basically would gouge the prices on people. I'm going to charge you a crazy price. I'm going to give you substandard service. And you know why? It's cannabis. Like, you're supposed to accept this. I think for us, building that relationship first before we even think about a sale, figuring out what it is I can do to help you. And sometimes maybe I can't. Maybe I'm the wrong fit. And don't try to force it. There's enough of a market out there. When you're ancillary, we can touch everybody in every state. We don't have to worry about crossing state lines.
Right.
I can go into Canada. I can go down to
That's
Puerto
so
Rico.
Huge.
Right. So I don't have to be that way. So I have my whole team really lined up on know your customer first. And then let's figure out if we can help. And if we can, great. If we can't, let's point them in the right direction and get them going. And they'll remember us. There'll come a time. It's a small world.
Gary, that seems so obvious and easy, but not enough people do it. So kudos to you for prioritizing that.
Thanks, and having investors who are patient enough for that,
yes.
Right? So.
Well, and speaking of those investors, speaking of the company in general, speaking of the space in general, I love looking forward 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 8 years from now, 10 years from now. Where do you see things going, and how do you want RX Green Technologies to fit into the future?
I'd love to see us continue to be at that forefront. I don't see us ever touching the plant, but I think there's more we can do to help support. So we have, for example, we'll give you some advice in the garden. We're not going to tell you that advice starts with using our products. First, we want to understand, figure out what the issue is, And sometimes it involves a product, sometimes it doesn't. And then give that kind of advice and support people along the way. I'd like us to continue to grow in that area because I think that's the one spot. Again, you don't know what it's going to become on the end user spot. Everybody's going to need that. No matter who comes in and grows, they need that support. That's where I'd like us to be. For the broader market, I think there, as people are starting to focus more on operating good businesses, it'll all make sense why you work with companies like us. That bro culture is starting to die away a little bit, and people are realizing these are real businesses with real potential that you can achieve if you just stop saying it's cannabis, therefore the rules don't apply.
The adults have entered the room.
And good Lord.
But it's a good thing because you can still have fun as long as there's seriousness when it matters.
Well, exactly. That's when you have the real fun, right? I mean, because when things are working and you're growing at the right pace and your board's happy and the investors are happy, they're also realigning themselves. They know that the kind of returns they thought they were going to get were never realistic. So they're coming to that conclusion. I've sat in on a number of panels, hearing folks talk about that and hearing what they're asking for, common sense asks. Like, when will you become profitable?
Right.
What else do you need to spend on to get there? Those are all legitimate questions, except it's 2025. Those are the same questions you should have been asking in 2018, 2019.
Yep, but you learn from your mistakes, and that helps everybody grow.
Exactly.
Gary Santo, the CEO of RX Green Technology. So great to see you again.
Same.
Keep up the great work to another great year ahead.
Thank you. Pleasure, sir.